Hey everybody, like the title said, I'm coming here today to talk about the Atlanta public school system situation. I'm a little late, but I just thought that I would share my opinion on it since everybody else has shared their opinion on it. Since I have this platform here, I am a product of the Atlanta public school system. I went there K through 12, and so I have kind of like a not a bias, but the Atlanta public school system is kind of close to my heart. Get my words together. Was the situation bad? Yes. Was it right? No, it was wrong. No, they shouldn't have cheated or changed whatever. But number one, I think it was a misalignment of incentives. When you attach these test scores to people's salaries, to funding, to all types of things, people are going to go to extreme measures to get the test scores. If that's what they need is the test scores to get their raise or to not get demoted or to keep their hours or for their school to keep getting their tax money or to keep getting their funding from the state or whatever, then that's what they're probably going to do. Were the teachers bad because the kids were stupid and all this other stuff? People are saying, no, not all the teachers are bad teachers. Then some kids are behind. Some kids, no matter what the teacher does, learning takes place at the home first. And if students don't have parents who are helping them along, making sure they're doing their homework, helping them with like their reading and helping them with their homework and projects and papers and things, then by the time the kid gets to school, it's not too late. But when you have a classroom packed full of kids, the kid who doesn't know how to read already, like the kid who doesn't know how to do math or is behind, it's unfortunate that these kids get pushed ahead or left behind or whatever, but that's kind of the case of it. And so doing these tests would show that these are the kids who are behind. But when it's attached to your paycheck or funding or prestige and all these other factors, you kind of have an incentive to make yourself look as good as possible. I turned out okay. I was in the gifted and talented program at school. Then I went on to Clemson University to get my bachelor's degree, and I'm currently getting my master's degree at Michigan, University of Michigan. I am doing pretty well for my brain in my Atlanta public school system. It's a public school system, and Atlanta is a very diverse city. So this point number two is a very intercompetitive school system as well. You have these, Atlanta goes from extremes. You have Bankhead, and then you got Buckhead. Like, these areas are completely different, yet they're in the same school system. So you have these schools who in certain areas of the city who have the students' parents are college educated. The mother might stay at home. They may have tutors. They may have nannies. They have people who care, who are helping them with their homework, who are reading to them, who are buying them My Baby Can Read, who are teaching them multiplication tables, who are doing all these things. Then you have other schools in the same school system with students who may be raised by their grandparents who didn't go to college. You may have them who just have a single parent home and their mom has to work 3 jobs, so they don't necessarily get to check and see if that child did their homework. They don't get to read to them because their parents may not know how to read themselves. And this is not to down the city of Atlanta. This is just honest truth. So you have these standards in the system, and to meet the standards even of the system, let alone it's in the South, the states in the South are kind of behind. So you have these national standards, these state standards, even these inner system standards to meet. It kind of drives you to do these unethical behaviors. Notice I said unethical. It wasn't right, but it is kind of what happened. So my heart goes out to these people who are losing their jobs and these principals and these students who are looked down upon and being called stupid, and the teachers are being called bad teachers. There are bad teachers in the school system, but just because your students' test scores are low doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad teacher. It's some students who come to school just to get the free lunch. Like, the last thing on their mind is learning something, because they're trying to figure out how they're about to eat, how they're about to survive. It's hard to go hungry. And some people who are in different realms of society, like, I never really went hungry, but my parents didn't grow up with the best. I didn't grow up with the best of the best, you know. So I can only guess how far removed, like, all these commentators and people who just grew up with are from this situation where students and people go without. Like, the students aren't stupid. It's just a bad situation for everybody. I think that's all I have to say on the matter, because I'm getting pretty emotional. I'm just so tied up in it. Like, this is my school system, and these are my teachers. Yes, some of them were bad, but most of them are excellent, good-hearted people who just want to teach. They don't want to teach a whole school year and then have children who may not didn't learn because they may not know how to take a test. I still don't know how to test. But I passed certain tests because I moved up through higher education, but I don't test as well as people who, you know, parents got them in Kaplan in the 12th grade to take the SAT. You know, so the teachers don't want these results to reflect on them when it comes time for the end of the school year. And maybe little Johnny couldn't read, and little Johnny was just, I don't know, misbehaving, and the teacher had 23 other students, and the teacher didn't want little Johnny to bring down her average on this standardized test. So the teacher did what she had to do to pull little Johnny up, so little Johnny could go ahead and not repeat the grade and end back up in her class the next year, because she didn't want little Johnny in the first place. And so she could get her raise or keep her current salary or whatever the case may be. However these incentives were aligned, or so the school could get their money, and the principal wasn't looking at her like, what the heck were you doing over there? Because we only got 23 cents per kid instead of 25 cents per kid, you know? So that is just my viewpoint on it. I turned out pretty well to come from the Atlanta public school system, and I love the school system. So I think it's easy to solve these low-hanging fruit problems of firing people and teachers and principals. If the principal was low performing before this, then yes, they deserve to be fired. But if they are you just firing them just because they cheated on these standardized tests, yeah, I think punishment needs to take place, but that's low-hanging fruit. Solve the big problems, the overarching problems of why these kids can't learn. Why are there neighborhoods where the test scores are extremely lower? Like, solve those problems. Solve those problems, and then get back on CNN and talk crap about the Atlanta public school system. That's all I have to say. Bye, guys.